All right, y'all. Good morning. What's up? We back. So it's been a little bit. Currently, we're heading out to the reptile house to go ahead and feed Cookie and Sarabi, our male and female croc monitors. Work has been going really well with Sarabi, and we're starting to get Cookie to come around. So we're going to be highlighting that in today's video. Appreciate y'all. Let's get to it. Going on. So this is now the shed, right? It's definitely still very rough looking, but with that being said, it's for the most part set up. You know what I mean? And you're probably wondering what's going on back here. This is now the massive croc enclosure that we built from ground up. I can include a couple of pictures right here, and this basically just highlights everything that we did from the ground up, building the frame, getting the ceilings on, adding all the lights. Still got to figure out what's going on with these lights. But today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to feed the croc monitors. Right now, we have Sarabi right here, our lovely female. And then we also have Cookie, who we were gracious enough to get from Goats Wildlife on a breeding loan. Now, Cookie is a long-term captive individual. He's been long-term captive for about 5 years now, Sarabi about 3. With these two, there has been a very small introduction, and it didn't go the way that we planned, so they are separated right now. What I'm actually going to get ready to do in the very near future is get rid of this tree right here. And I'm actually going to install a divider for them with acrylic paneling with holes in it so that they can actually smell one another and get accustomed to one another's presence. That way, when the copulation cycle does come around, they can actually smell one another and already be familiarized. So you guys are probably wondering what's been going on, why we've been on a hiatus. So while I'm prepping their food, which today we're gonna be feeding them chicken gizzards, and we're also gonna be feeding them some turkey necks. I like to do a lot of organ meats and just obscure cuts. That way it still gives them what they need nutrition-wise, but also it gives them a varied diet. I don't like to feed a whole lot of whole prey as far as rodents go, but I will still offer quail, chicks, fish, things like that. So real quick, I'm just gonna go through a couple of questions that I know have been asked a lot and just hash away at those so that way you guys are caught up and then we can roll right back into it. So first question, big question, main question, right? Chino, where have you been at? Long story short, I've been working. I ended up going through a whole career shift after getting out of the Navy, so now I work maintenance as my day job, and I'm working about 60 hours a week, so it is quite a lot to take on, especially with the family, right? Me and Tati are doing the best that we can, and work is, again, just very demanding. So give me a little bit of grace, if you will. We're still trying to hash out these schedules and get everything situated as best we can, right? Because at the end of the day, we're still human. So we obviously have to work, and this is not my day job. This is just a passion, and this is what me and Tati both love to do. So everything just is gonna fall into place as it has been, and we'll make content as we can. Another big question that's actually been asked recently is, how did you end up getting croc monitors? Well, that's a funny story, right? We ended up getting Shenron, well, formerly Shenron, now Sarabi, because she was actually traded to us thinking it was a male. After some research and some digging and some help I received from a couple of friends, we had found out that she was actually a female. So that came through a trade with a few animals because they weren't actually fitting into our collection well, and the breeding projects that we were doing with boas was taking a different route. So we ended up trading several boas, a couple of venomous, and another monitor for Sarabi. Being a croc monitor, she didn't come from the best place, but she was still healthy, she was doing her thing, just very skittish and unsure of everything around her. So it's been quite some time, but we've had Sarabi for going on 6 to 7 months now. Another question that's actually been brought up quite a bit on the lives, which, yes, we still do lives on TikTok. who all do you still have? What all are you working with now? And who can we expect to see more of moving forward on the lives? Well, we still work with primarily boas, and we are still breeding them. We're still doing what we do. Now, as far as who you can expect to see on the lives and here on the channel, obviously the king, who actually is an Urza. It's also a male. That would be Kaido. And you can still expect to see the spitters, a few vipers that we still have, our day one cobras like Hinode, Akane, and Aki, right? We still have plenty more cobras as well. With that being said, there's a few other additions that we haven't highlighted that we will go through on another video. So I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of who is in what enclosure and what all we've done in the shed this video, but the next video we're going to do, which is actually going to be a room tour, we're going to go ahead and go cage by cage and just divulge who's in what, who is where, the newest additions to the family, their names, what kind of animal they are, the normal stuff that we do because we do still like to educate and even just give basics as far as taxonomy goes. Right now, what we're getting ready to do is actually feed Cookie. So Cookie, again, hasn't been with us for too long. This is actually the individual who came to us from Goats Wildlife, right? So he is, like I said, a 5-year-old long-term captive crocodile monitor. Now, with that being said, he's still very, very new to us, and we want to make sure that we are working with him as best we can. And right now, I'm just trying to get him to come down so he can get into a more comfortable position to actually feed, and that way you guys can actually view him. Super food motivated. And once you get him out of the weird thought process, and instead of trying to observe everything that's going on, and when he really focuses on food, he's a great animal. And he's amazing to work with. It's just getting him out of that weird spot. Oh, you dropped your food, bud. Here you go. Just dropped it right down into his water bowl, which he does have a little pond in here. There he goes. Now, fun fact about croc monitors. They have the largest teeth out of the varanid, right? Although they aren't as large as Komodo dragons, if you were to compare their skulls to Komodo dragons, the teeth are so much larger. So these guys are pretty dangerous. We've been working together for a good amount of time. Now, with that being said, the biggest thing with croc monitors is you want to work with them on their terms. You don't want to force them to interact, and you don't want to push yourself onto them because then they'll become more unsure of what's going on. And you really want to take your time with these guys because they are also extremely dangerous as well. Now, just because you see people popping up and they're getting croc monitors does not mean that everybody should go out and get them. These animals need to be respected and they need to be understood. What are you doing, bud? And you can see moments like that where they know the difference between tongs or hands and food, right? He knows the difference. We just don't have the strongest bond right now because we're still brand new to one another. So what we're gonna do now is a little bit of trust building that I've tried to do with him, which does seem to work very well because these guys are highly food motivated. I'm gonna use the chicken gizzards to try to get him to come out onto my hand because this is a good test to see how much he'll actually trust me. And right there, the number one thing that you don't want to do is move because you want to act like a tree. If they think you're a tree, they're not going to have any problems. Now, he's also very, very smart. Like I said, croc monitors are some of the smartest varanids in the world. So he knows. He's like, hey, I'm not going to do anything unless you're going to reward me with high priority stuff. That's why we're feeding chicken gizzards and turkey necks today, because I want to try and make big steps with him. I really want to try and get him to trust me, but it takes a lot of time. Hey, Bubs. And just talking with him is the biggest thing. There you go. You see that right there. That's a really beautiful moment to be able to have a croc monitor trusting you enough to come to you, even if it is something as small as just for food. It's an interaction, and we have to make it as positive as possible so he continues to build that trust. One thing that I actually forgot to mention was that because we're feeding him chicken gizzards and turkey necks today, it doesn't really have a whole lot of calcium in there for him. So what I like to do is actually supplement calcium on top of the chicken gizzard and the turkey necks as well, just to make sure that he's getting the proper amount of nutrients that he actually needs. Good boy. Don't drop it. Oh, there goes some. You got it? Good boy. Now this is gonna be a nice meal for him. I try not to overfeed him, so we only feed him every 3 days. Now actually, he does have a lot of inflammation with his mouth. So I actually have another vet appointment scheduled for him to go and get him checked out and make sure that everything is good. He was in this condition when he was actually shipped to us, because this was actually a result of how he was kept with his previous owner. So when Goats Wildlife actually initially received him, this was actually the condition that he was already in. He was kept in a rather small enclosure, and the way everything was portrayed to me was that the conditions were not ideal, and me and Goat are now working together to try and get everything situated for him and make sure that we are both taking the absolute best care of him that we possibly can. And I'm doing my part while he's here on his breeding loan. But absolutely insane. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna feed him the rest of this, and then we're gonna move on to Sarabi. All right, guys, so what we're gonna go ahead and do now is actually feed Sarabi. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take these doors off, right? Why I'm doing this is, number one, to give her a little bit more space so that if she does decide to come out, she can come out on her own accord. Yes, we're gonna be using food to try to coax her out and show her that she can trust us, but I still want her to basically move on her own free will. Ideally, what I really want to try to do is actually get her to walk out to us, and maybe even walk out onto me. You see there, she almost had it. She just needs to take a little bit of a bigger step. And then when she walks out to the food, she'll be able to actually eat on her own accord. Hey, Mama, here, come on. It's just about working with them. You give them something high priority, and you'll be able to really work with them. In the similar aspect to a dog, if you can figure out what's high priority to them, you can almost lead them in any direction that you want to. So right there, what I actually had to do was work her from the other side and get her turned around, because what's going on is the white throat is actually moving around in the background, and the white throat's still fairly new as well, and she is like, what is going on? This is weird, there's another animal, I don't know what it is, what is it doing, things like that. She said, ooh, this is a new smell. What is this? What does it taste like? What is it? Ooh, I like it. But she's also smelling the air too, to see what's going on. She's pretty unsure right now, so I have to back off, and I just gotta let her eat. I gotta let her do her thing. But she's not exhibiting any signs of stress right now. She's just purely thinking. She's like, what is going on? And sure, there's a lot going on for her right now. If we can try to get her to walk onto us, we'll take that opportunity to be able to work with her. But if not, no big deal, right? And actually, it does look like she's getting ready to walk out. So we'll see how that goes. Super cool animal, very long. Another fact about these guys is that their tail actually makes up 75% of their length, which is insane. They actually use their tails to scale trees and hold themselves up and balance, basically. Very similar to monkey tail skinks or prehensile tail skinks. Their tails are partially prehensile, and they really accentuate that when you see them climb. Because when I had her in the larger enclosure for a period of time, being able to watch her climb and scale the trees as quick as she did and just maneuver so nimbly through the limbs that I created, it was really cool. Come on, baby. Oh, hey, Mama. Come here. Come on. It's okay. So this is a moment we have to take it very slow with her. She's not super willing to come out sometimes, and we have been working with her a lot. There we go. She's a smart girl, guys. She's a very smart girl. If she doesn't want to cooperate and stay close to the camera, that's fine. But like I said, I really wanted to take this moment and just really focus on how much more comfortable Sarabi has gotten as of late. Right here, you guys can definitely see the comparison between me and Sarabi. I look like a big, scary stranger to her, even though we've had her for a considerable amount of time. So it makes sense as to why she's not really wanting to interact, why she doesn't seem super willing. And I get it. I'm a big person. She hasn't had the best interaction with people. So we just want to make sure that we show her that not all people are bad. You don't want the food, baby. This is one of those instances where she knows that there's food out here, but she doesn't really want to come out. And look, I'm touching her on her back and I'm trying to get her to take, there she is. She's just checking everything out. She's got so much going through her brain that she's trying to process right now. And I really want to try to get her to come out to build a positive interaction. And even on live, we've been able to have her come out, have her walk on us, walk through our hands. And Khaleesi's Dragon, as well as Monitor Ops and Savagery Reptiles, again, Goats Wildlife, they've all been popping up and just watching the journey with these croc monitors. Because in the future, we are going to try our hand at breeding them. This is a beautiful moment right here. Very, very cool moment. And I don't want to stress her out too much. I do want to, again, keep this a very positive interaction. Even if she doesn't come out or walk onto us today, that's perfectly fine because we have been doing a lot of work with her. So, last couple of things that I did want to mention. We are going to try to continue to make content. We are getting back on track with going live on TikTok, making posts. So that means that we're going to try to be regularly posting here on YouTube as well. It's just going to take a little bit just because of the work schedules, like I said, but we are going to make it happen. My big thing was that I wanted to get the shed done before I decided to hop back on the content train and make things happen. Now that the shed's done, we're going to hit the ground running, and it's going to be amazing. We're already almost halfway through 2026, and I have a lot of big goals that I want to achieve. And I also have a lot of trips that I want to plan as well. With my birthday happening in June, I definitely, it being a summer month, want to make something happen. And by the end of this year, one of my big goals is to be able to have both of these guys trusting us and really highlighting the bond that you can have with croc monitors. All right, guys, so for now, that's really all the time that we have today. Unfortunately, I do have to go to work, so I'm trying to get all this in where I can get it in at. Life has been very busy. It's been crazy, but as you guys know, nothing can be crazier than working with half of the animals that we do have. On the next video, like I said, we're going to be going through a room tour and giving you guys a closer look at what is in everything. And actually, we're going to get ready to go through another room change because we have all new enclosures coming. So it's going to be fun to be able to set that up, give these guys upgrades, and really finish out my vision for what the shed is going to be. So until next time, guys, I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to go ahead and drop the follows and keep up with us on other social media platforms. The Linktree link is going to be in the bio, so that way you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well. And we're going to be trying to post more regularly and really just keep up to date with you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.